can't do that, can't do that. Oh. That's a fear. Because our brain knows fear better than technology. Although there are great, no doubt about it, advancements in technology, the natural wiring of your brain and my brain will guide you to wherever you want to go, as long as you are aware enough of it at the time. So awareness is key. Now, listen, I guarantee you the hardest thing in life is death. How can I guarantee you? I've never died. But if someone close to you dies, it will leave a mark on you forever. And I know this, and I'm sure you do too. It will change the way you think and can redirect your life in a new direction. But although death is something that immediately brings with it initial negativity, the one thing that is certain over time is that it does give finality. Things are over. Because there's no coming back from it. And I know that's a negative thought, but that's not where I'm going here. You can dwell on the what ifs and the would be's if the person was still alive. Yet that won't get you to anywhere in life. It just won't. So you have to eventually live your life instead. You've got to pick up the pieces and, unfortunately but truly, get on with things. And from there, all you can do is survive. And after time, then you have to try to receive some joy from some part of life again. Because life is supposed to be a joyful time. That's all we have. Especially if we look for the small certainties of life. And that can come from simple things, and indeed our appreciation of what's around us and how this will essentially outlive us when you think about it. Because many of those things are found in the simplest of places, in a place called nature. And nature is all around us. Although in modern life we're used to perhaps city dwellings with all the modern conveniences, hustle and bustle, our ancient human friends, our forefathers and mothers, well, they were more used to the wild of it all. And even though we've much advancement, and there's no doubt about that, in modern living, back then we hadn't changed, or even over the years we haven't changed enough in our makeup to be settled into the modern world. Because our ancient brain, it still begs, it still wants us to survive. And our ancient brain, it will do just about anything in the modern world to achieve that. Just like all those years ago when, say, we had to hunt and gather and become aware of who was around us. The next turn, maybe a new person came or a new fear. That would light up this part of our brain that would warn us from certain situations. But the same thing is true nowadays. Even though we have the technology to tell us what's near us, rationally we know that. And it doesn't make sense to us why then we go ahead and fear things when we have this technology to aid us with our awareness. But we do still fear things. Now, along with these sophisticated laws, it keeps us well and away from too much harm. Yet our ancient brain doesn't think that way exactly. It doesn't stop and think about laws, for example. Instead, it keeps us on high alert in case our dangers essentially overtake us. And this is a good thing because it shows that your brain, my brain, our brain's amygdala is doing its job properly. And the amygdala is found in your brain's temporal lobe. The term amygdala then comes from, well, the word almond, believe it or not, because this part of your brain and mine, represents this type of a seed. And there are two parts to one in each what's called cerebral hemisphere. Part of the ancient limbic system, the amygdala, well, it plays a huge role in your emotion and your overall behavior, as it primarily deals with how you process fear. Yet, it also has other functions as well. And way back, nearly 100 years ago in the 1930s, an interesting experiment was carried out by two scientists, and their names were Paul Bucy and Henrik Clover. They took out the amygdala of these monkeys. They're called rhesus monkeys. And from there they noticed massive behavioral changes in them. The monkeys showed their fear in their behavior. Now what's interesting is there was a collection of nuclei within the temporal lobe that did not perceive fear. Rather, the rest of the brain was more docile as a result of this. And from there, these two well-known scientists at the time, Clover and Bucy, well, they named a syndrome, and it was coined the Clover-Bucy syndrome, or KBS. But it rarely happens. But when it does, it's usually a result of traumatic brain injury, or what's called a TBI. And that's when people find changes in one's dietary behavior, their sexual hyperactivity, their visual agnosia or visual agnosia and plasticity. Of course, changes in diet, well, these can be noticed quite easily. You can see if somebody's not eating well or if they're eating differently. Sexual urges will alter a person's behavior too, we know that for sure. And if you're more placid in your behavior, well, a lot of people will often notice it too, for sure. But something unusual like, say, this thing, visual agnosia, this isn't as clear to many people. Visual agnosia occurs when brain damage comes about in the neural pathway within the connections of the occipital lobe or the parietal or temporal lobe. Here, incoming visual information is processed from the assembled information where, well, the two formerly mentioned lobes help you and me and us all to understand what's incoming, the incoming information as such. And that's how our brains, your brain, my brain, fears centers work. They perceive. And it's clear we still need them because we still have them, despite all the technological advancements. And many of us purchase all of these things, and the marketplace pushes it at us. Because our ancient brains, which have still shaped our skulls, and again, attractiveness, with this almond-shaped brain within us, it keeps us wary of what's our future. And although death, there's no doubt, unfortunately, will be guaranteed to be there somewhere at some time for you, for me, for everybody, you can enjoy your time knowing that you have an automatic piece of hardware wired within your brain. And there are no guarantees in life that every day, as we know, will be positive, unfortunately. Yet your brain will let you know when it wants to get attention from what it perceives is the fear that you need to be aware of. So if you've got the knowledge, or at least trust that you've got the knowledge to notice what's going on that could or will harm you, then you'll be able to forge ahead with more confidence in what you are looking at from life, or what you want from life. So be open-eyed and make sure your brain is working. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, well, hit that subscribe button. Until next time though, Have a wonderful day.